Getting set for a start here in Rotax Heavy. Can Paul Rogers continue his run down to the front straightaway to turn number 1 they go. What about Ben Walter on his return to national competition, the Tasmanian? 18 laps on the board as they go through, and it's Rogers who assumes the lead. The 06 of Branson is into second spot. Ben Walter, he is there in third spot. Great little outfit coming out of Tasmania is the AWC Motorsport Academy, of course established by Andrew Walter, Ben's father. Took out their first Australian Championship just a couple of weekends ago with 16-year-old Tasmanian Lockie Dalton in KA1 at the Australian Kart Championship.
Good clean start for this, the Rotax Heavy Final here in the sunshine of the Ben Motorsport Park in South Australia. Paul Rogers, long-time campaigner in the Rotax category, comes across the line in the FA kart, kart number 10. 17 remain, just over 20 Ks. The sun comes out to shine. The wind picks up ever so slightly. And the order is Rogers, Mitch Branson, Ben Walter, the Tasmanian, Nicholas Caruso, Ben McMillan, Lucas Mitchell. What about Chris Board from the back of the grid? The DR Kart team driver, team manager himself, is up into position number 8. It's a great start by Chris, the Queenslander.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job with that DR Kart outfit. Of course, he had Danilo Rossi out here earlier this year to the round of the Australian Kart Championship that was held at Albury on the New South Wales Victorian border. Oh, it's starting to fire up at the front. Here comes Walter. He's gone to the outside, and their nose to tail are top 3. Now Caruso gets involved in the Pettis suspension number 20. Across the start finish line they run. Branson, the 06, up the inside of Rogers. Branson takes the lead. Rogers comes back at him, but the door is shut well and truly in his face. And now we've got a battle in 6 karts as they work their way forward. Lucas Genev attaches himself to the rear in the Genev Constructions Pro Karting machine. Through the middle part of the race circuit they go. We've got a new leader, Mitchell Branson, the first time that we've seen him at the point of a Rotax Pro Tour race. Paul Rogers has been shuffled back to second, made the switch 2 rounds ago to this category in third position. Then is Caruso with Walter behind them. And of course, we've got McMillan in the pace, number 38, finished on the podium at our opening round. Back to the front straight away they come. The top 7 now, nose to tail. This is a terrific race. Then add Christopher Board and Lane Moore, our series leader, who hasn't had the best weekend. Has started when their tent blew away on Friday. They've had to set up temporary digs inside one of the sheds here at the Ben Motorsport Park. Just hasn't really shown a great deal of pace, Lane Moore. It's been a wonderful return after a broken leg last year to competition for Lane this year in the Rotax Pro Tour. He took out 3 of the first 4 rounds. Rogers, of course, took out our last round. And now, who is going to win here this weekend as Rogers retakes the lead as they start working their way back around Branson in second spot there.
Nice move by Corey Jennings in the CRG. Goes up into position 7 ahead of Chris Board, that is, the Queenslander, who we just spoke about. So Corey Jennings has made a good start. Sorry, Lane Moore, I should say.
Lane in the number 7. Yes, he's on the way through. That's Team
Lane, of course.
Australia entry.
In the CRG, entered under Corey's name. But he's made the good move there. Just the final few steps of the podium, 1, 2 and 3, is Paul, Mitch and Nicholas Caruso. Then we go to McMillan, Walter, Lucas Genev, Lane Moore, of course, in the CRG. Go through on Chris Board.
Fastest first sector of anyone on this lap from Ben McMillan. Terrific to have sector times. Available here at the Bend Motorsport Park. McMillan setting the fastest first sector of anyone. So he's going to bring himself into calculations here as Ben Walter does the fastest lap of the race, a 51.327 from the Tasmanian. So he's about to get back up on the wheel. There in 5th spot. He's behind McMillan, who just hasn't had any luck throughout the course of this year. Oh, Caruso makes a mistake. Oh, no! Caruso makes a mistake, and it's talking about McMillan's luck, and there it is. He is off to the side of the racetrack. This guy, seriously, it's been the story of his season. Stuff exactly like that. You can't believe it.
Well, that is a disappointment. He steps out of the cart, and that is the end of his race. Was running on the podium.
Not only that, it's a good race. It was a good little battle there between 6 or 7 of them up the front. So our top 2 are pulling away, and understandably, McMillan, not a happy camper at all. Third place there is Nick Caruso, who's under attack from Lane Moore. He tries to go defensive, but Moore says, I'm going to take that one. And now Lane gets himself up onto the podium in the number 7 CRG, working his way forward. He can keep an eye then on this battle up the front between Rogers and Branson. So Branson's still holding tough with Paul Rogers. Good drive this weekend by Mitchell Branson. It's the strongest that we've seen him in the Pro Tour competition this season thus far, as they work their way through the middle sector, up through the Mojo section of the race circuit. A move coming for 4th position. That's Walter that's moved his way back into position number 4. The battle for the lead works its way through. Rogers slightly faster than Branson on this lap. We'll see the lap times as they cross the start-finish straight. A 51.574 for Rogers, a 51.614 for Branson, but it's a 51.4 for Lane Moore. He's only 1.9 seconds off the race leaders, Lane Moore, at the end of lap number 7. So with 11 laps to go and a couple of tenths faster than those in front of him, Lane Moore is still in with a strong chance at being able to throw out the challenge to our top 2.
Matt, this is a phenomenal drive from Lane because he started on the very last row of the grid. Forgive my confusion earlier. He did start on the 7th row of the grid. Did Lane. In cart number 7.
This is certainly what we've come to expect from Lane Moore. Nuggety performances, his father Kerry down there, and also Kenny Bensley working on the cart. Of course, Kenny, the former Praga importer to Australia. So go down the front straight away. You're watching Rotax Heavy, proudly brought to you by Tillett Seats. Tillett Seats available from your IKD dealer network right around Australia.
Andrew Cash going through on Christopher Board there. The battle comfortably inside the top 10. Gavin Whitmore, Corey Jennings, he's into 10th. Mitchell Wall, Zach Morris, and Benjamin McMillan back in 13th spot. Incidentally, has just set the fastest first sector of the entire race, a 19.322. A little bit of rubber going down on the track after the rain that has washed through the circuit here, just about an hour's drive from the South Australian capital throughout the weekend.
There's actually some nice rubber going down on Friday in the warm conditions. There's a really good black lines that had that real grippy feel about it, but then that's all been washed away by the weather conditions that we've been experiencing over recent days. New fastest lap for Lane Moore. He's on the charge now.
He's really catching a Matt.
Taken 3 tenths out of Branson on that lap, a 51.223. So it's game on up the front. We're working lap number 10 of our 18 here, so there's still plenty of time. Rogers and Branson will really need to put the foot down because our series leader, he hasn't had the greatest weekend. He's got his eye on going out on top in the series this weekend. He's doing a terrific job based on Ephraim Island on the Gold Coast is Lane Moore charging forward at the moment.
Rogers, Branson and Lane Moore will check the gap. Last time round was 4 tenths between first and second, then 1.3 back to Moore. 1.1, he's taken 2 tenths of a second, a 51.137 for the Queenslander in the 7 CRG. Here he comes on the back of the green machine and the FA cart. The very experienced Paul Rogers, who continues to lead this, the second of the finals here this afternoon or this morning. Here at the Ben Motorsport Park in South Australia, the final of the Pro Tour for 2018. Rogers, Branson, Lane Moore, one step off the podium. Here's the Tasmanian. Benjamin Walter, Lucas Genev, Caruso, Cash in P7, Mitch Wall, Gavin Whitmore, and Corey Jennings in cart 46, who started out of grid number 7, just rounds out the top 10. Moore over the back of Mitchell Branson. He'll just about get the slipstream. Branson in the Tony Kart looks beside. Moore down the inside, can't make the move. He's right on the back of the green machine. The CRG, the FA cart of Rogers gives him a bit of breathing space. We've just clicked over half race distance. The Rotax Heavy Final, the Pro Tour here in South Australia. Moore, watch him down the back straight, if we can call it that, with the kink in it. The white helmet of Branson looking around. Down the inside goes Lane Moore from the back of the grid. The CRG now up into position 2. The question is, can he catch the race leader? This has been a brilliant drive. Lane Moore in second spot. Paul Rogers, the race leader, in the 10 FA Kart. The gap, 1.2 seconds. Time remaining 6 laps. It will be a monumental effort to catch the Victorian.
I tell you what, if he does get through and get the win, it'll be celebrated long and hard tonight. I can see the Australian importer of CRG, Chris Dell, there checking the stopwatch, watching his charge as Lane Moore has got himself from 13th on the grid into second spot. Ian, you spend most of your time in Europe and around the European karting scene. Australia at this level, certainly in terms of Rotax Pro Tour and the domestic karting series, is probably the strongest domestic karting series in the world at the moment. How is that viewed by the European factories in terms of what we're doing out here in Australia?
Well, let's look at Australia's results. Last couple of years, Troy Woolston won the title. Lee Mitchener won the world number 1 in 2016. Also saw Scotty Old down in the pits earlier on. He was second back in, this is stretching the memory, Malaysia, I think 2002 or 2003,
2000
Scott.
or something.
In an Australian-made kart, as it was. Gee, that's 15 years ago. Great to see Scott here. But when we come over and announce ourselves on the scene with wins such as Troy took last year in, I think it was Portimao.
Yes.
Where he raced 2 years prior to that as well. Hey, the Australian flag. We're not just known for kangaroos and sharks and wild animals and crocodiles. We can race as well. Of course, Josh Fife in the KZ World Championships, or the KZ2 International Super Cup 7 days ago in Gank. Top 10 runner until he broke a chain with 2 or 3 laps to go. Young Marcus Flack. People know his name, certainly, so it's great to see. We can be proud as Australians. This is the best country on earth, and we've got a fantastic Pro Tour, and this is the final of it right here on what we can genuinely say is a world-class circuit. I know we all like to exaggerate, but that is no exaggeration. This is fantastic, and it's not even finished yet.
Yeah, and I think it's just absolutely wonderful, and the reception that it's had from our competitors from the time that we rolled out here on Thursday has just been nothing but praise for the way that the venue is laid out, the way that you can just get around so easily. You've got the hotel right here. There's City of Murray Bridge about 20 minutes away. Everything is laid out quite well, so there's a fair bit going on right around this whole facility. In the town of Tailem Bend, the legacy that this joint will leave for the town of Tailem Bend is something quite unbelievable, and the Shaheen family should be extremely proud of what they are bringing to this city. As they come across the start-finish line, Paul Rogers has got just 3 laps to go. A 51.2 that time for Rogers, a 51.0 for Moore. There's 1.5 seconds between the two of them. Is it a bridge too far for Lane Moore to cross to try and get up there and throw the challenge to Paul Rogers? He's done a great job, Rogers, in being able to respond to the challenge of Moore. It looked like it was game on a bit earlier on. Rubber wouldn't be an issue after the conditions from yesterday, so the Mojo dry tyres would be 100% okay in terms of being able to push on towards the end of this race. They come around again, and it looks as though Rogers might be lapping about a similar lap time to Lane Moore this time through.
1.5 seconds the gap, can't see it happening. Paul Rogers looks behind him in the 10 FA Kart. There's just 2.2 kilometres to go. The last final of the Pro Tour for 2018 for these drivers. A tremendous effort from the CRG pilot. That is Lane Moore in kart number 7 from row number 7. He's up in position number 2. Paul Rogers on his way to victory. We said the circuit is not quite yet finished here. They've done a tremendous job. This race is just about finished though. Paul Rogers looks unstoppable. Mitch Branson, kart number 6, the Green Machine, will take the 3rd step of the podium here this afternoon. Last lap board, well, the digitised sign will greet the Victorian this time around. Gordon Cooper from Cooper's Photography lining up to take the final checkered flag winning photo for the Pro Tour.
Rogers has got this one pretty well in the bag as they start the last lap. I love that digitised signboard, especially when the checkered flag comes out on it. I think that's pretty cool. Great addition here at the Ben Motorsport Park. Of course, you can see the lights around the facility as well. Lights up like a Christmas tree at night time.
1.5 seconds. The gap remains. Moore will finish second. Branson will finish third. Paul Rogers from Victoria, kart number 10, on his way to victory. The final race, the final few corners for the final time for the Pro Tour for 2018. Goes through the right-hander, the left-hander complex. Matt Payne, fantastic weekend for Paul Rogers, about to take the checkered flag.
Comes to the start-finish straight. Paul Rogers stepped into the series last round and continues his winning ways, but Lane Moore will be crowned our champion of Rotax Heavy for season 2018. A tremendous drive for him to come through to second spot. Mitch Branson home in the 0-6 in third. Then Ben Walter, great return to the national scene for him in fourth. Lucas Genev, solid drive to come home in fifth position. Then it's Nicholas Caruso. Andrew Cash, good to see him back at it. Then Wall, Jennings and Board is your top 10.